Hi, everyone. It's Shamila Ramjawan from the Red Corner Show. My guest today is Marjanne Baker, who is from West Africa, Liberia. And Marjanne is the CEO founder of SOAR, which is the subsidiary of Mets Africa 4B. Hello, Marjanne. How are you?
Hi, Shamila. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. Yourself?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation to chat to me on the Red Corner Show. And it's so great seeing you. I think I last saw you in 2018.
Yes. Oh, it's such a pleasure. It's such an honor to be here, and I'm so excited that we've still been able to stay connected. And this show is exciting. Thank you so much for having me.
I think we're having a few connection problems there. So we're going to try and keep it going and keep you on the line. I know we're crossing across Africa, so I hope that everything is on our favor.
Okay.
Marjanne, would you like to just tell the audience a little bit about who you are, your background, education, family, whatever you want to share with us?
Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Marjanne Baker, and I'm a native of the Republic of Liberia, which is in West Africa. And we left Liberia, my family left Liberia in the 80s when I was still a young girl, because we did have a coup d'etat in the country, and we migrated to the US, which became my second home for about 27 years, Texas to be specific. So I grew up in Texas, went to school there, got married, had my son there, and I returned home quite a few years ago to live and to work. So I'm back in Liberia, and while in the US, we started an NGO. My husband and I started an NGO, which was a 501c3, which was very successful. We were able to render a lot of assistance to Liberia we had some peak conflict years. And it was successful in that we were able to give a lot of support to the country during those years. But I returned home, and now I've established another NGO, which is what I'm working on now. And that's when it started off in actually, the NGO was reestablished in 2017. And the focus is primarily to work with children between the ages of 8 to 16. And I've been teaching for many, many, many years, over 15 years, all across the US. In Texas, I went on to Baltimore, Maryland. I taught there professionally, and then I went on to Atlanta, Georgia, and then back to Texas. And then I went on to Kenya for a while to teach, and also to the Republic of Benin. So I've been teaching forever, it seems. But in recent years, I've had such a strong passion with teaching and working with young people. So I reestablished an NGO to focus on the 21st century skills of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is the STEM. And that is where I've been giving most of my energy since 2014 to the STEM program. I have a son he still lives in the US. He works there, and he's a film producer. So he's a young man, and I'm here working and trying to get our programs established here. So this is our 2017. we reestablished as an NGO. And so here we are.
And what's your intention? You're such a globetrotter. Are you now going to stay in Liberia?
Well, yes, Liberia is now home. I've made Liberia home since quite a few years now. But the hope is once we get the program established here in Liberia, we would like to spread it to hopefully nearby countries, because it's really like an extracurricular program, and we really build up and inspire children in these 21st century skills of creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, innovation, because these are skills that are so crucial for this 21st century. So many times in our African setting, we lack many of these, let me just say, the labs. Because when I grew up here, we didn't have the opportunity of a lab to work. So one of the things I didn't like math at all growing up. I so hated math. But now that I've as a teacher and been moving around in many areas with the STEM program, I know how these areas, we want to make it fun, we want to make it exciting, we want to make it engaging. And so once we introduce it to the children in another way, I believe they will become much more inspired to go into these areas that are critical for this 21st century.
So what's your take on it so far? I mean, you started this initiative in 2017, and I think in 2018 you were identified as one of the women in Africa to represent your country, and we all went to Morocco. So you had already started the initiative then. What was your take so far, in all of this, streamlining this initiative throughout Liberia?
Well, we're getting the children love the program. Their parents love the program. But the biggest hurdle that we are experiencing is everyone the funding, because we cater to really the masses, and oftentimes it's a challenge in having them get involved in these kinds of programs. So we do charge like a minimal fee, and we look for sponsors here and there, but that is where our greatest challenge is. But the parents love the program, the students really love the program, because like I say, we bring it to them in a way that's fun, that where they work on projects in teams, and they really enjoy it. So, but these are the little challenges that we have been experiencing in terms of getting funding. But nonetheless, we're moving forward. We've been we connect with schools, the private schools, the public schools, and universities. We try to foster partnerships with any learning environment that will want to engage us, and then we open up any type of in other words, each institution we work with, they design the roadmap of what works best for them. Because if we go to a private institution, of course it will be a different kind of arrangement versus if we go into a public school setting, it's another arrangement. But as we move around, we have a small resource team of veteran teachers like myself, and who are really passionate about what we're doing, because we try to source, like we have an architect right now who's with our program, but she's an artist. Her passion is really in the art, painting and sculpting. So really, she's like a volunteer with the program. And because that's what she really enjoys doing, just the art. And then we recently have a martial artist who came on board to work along with us and to bring in the sports aspect to the program. So the hope is we really want to, we in trying to develop our resource network, we look for uh, individuals, professionals who are just really passionate about the industry, whatever industry they're in, and then they come on board as a volunteer with the program, because we do charge just a small fee to keep the programs going.
Are they okay to work as a volunteer and not get an income, or do they have a 9 to 5 and this is just an add-on?
Exactly. Most they have their regular source of income, and once we agree to the terms in terms of per quarter, they come in and then we give something a little stipend at the end of the day. But because, like I said, we're at the point where we cannot really hire professionals to come on board full time, so we have to balance it in that way, and it has been working out quite well so far. But we know that it'll come a time when we need to scale up in terms of what we're doing, because we need to really spread the impact across Liberia. Right now, we're focusing in the central Monrovia, and greater Monrovia, which is the capital city. And we also did some programs in a nearby county, which is the Grand Bassa County. But the hope is to spread it throughout the country. And for us to be able to do that, we have to be able to bring on more professionals and more people on board to work along with us. But it's working out very well so far. So yeah.
It sounds very interesting, and STEM has become so popular in the last few years, I must add. So, in terms of your sponsors and donors, is it easy to get sponsors and donors to actually come on board and help you with the project?
Well, no, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's a challenge still. It's still a challenge, but it's encouraging. People. So we're at the stage where we have to figure out now, maybe um, we've been using a lot of the social media handles, but we have to figure other strategies to get, like, we're working on the launch pretty soon, and I'll be sharing that with you, with the hope that we can invite you, because it'll be a Zoom with the COVID-19, so we have to do a virtual launch, and that will be our official launch sometime soon. We're putting the date together with the hope that we can get more people on board, more sponsors. But no, it's not easy to get sponsors. It's a challenge, Shamila.
Yes, I know it's a challenge, especially CSI these days has taken a back step because of people or corporates investing in PPE for COVID-19. But just talking about COVID-19, how did that affect you and your initiatives in Liberia?
Okay. It has a lot. It has a lot. In fact, even the parents what we do, sometimes we get students on scholarships for the program, or yes, and we get sponsors who can pay for the year for the students to be a part of the program. And sometimes we do get paid private parents. But this right now, the parents are coming in very slowly. 2018, we had a much bigger group, but now it's slowly, and parents keep saying times are difficult, and this was we keep hearing because of the COVID. So it has slowed things down somewhat. But we are working on a virtual challenge. We're going to be doing some virtual challenges, and we have one coming up in April. And so we're going to be where the students don't have to come to the physical space. They can just work in teams within their community, or within their home setting, or within their church setting, in small groups. And then we launch the competition virtually.
What about resources for these people in the smaller groups? How will they access that? Who supplies the resources?
Well, what we usually just require is that they have access to an Android phone or a yes, and also the internet access. Those are the two things that we require when they join the program. And so once they come on board, they understand that those are things they have to make accommodations for. So if, like I said, if we do have children who are on scholarships, we try to make some arrangements to have that taken care of for them. But the private paying parents, they have to make those accommodations for themselves and you know, and their children.
Okay, so you literally going fully online.
Yes, yes, exactly. And, and another important aspect of what we're doing is the teacher training. We are working, we've done some teacher training and we need to do more of it. But again, because of the COVID, so we have to kind of come up with a different strategy on how to do our teacher training. So because the hope is, because we're a small team, we cannot spread ourselves too thin. So what we're doing is we get to an institution, we train their teachers, we work with them for a period of time, and then we leave. And the hope is for their math, science, art, or IT teacher to carry the program forward. And then periodically, we do have sessions here where we can regroup and address any concerns, any challenges, and to make sure we share ideas, we exchange during the teacher training. Because again, it's to spread the STEAM program as much as we can. And we have to spread it through the teacher training.
What about, I'm just thinking now in terms of the training and the teacher training, because it's more like train the trainer kind of thing, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so what about certification and accreditation?
Sorry?
What about accreditation and certification?
Okay. That is what we need to look at this juncture, because we're still relatively a new entity, and we need to. These are things that we're looking at closely, and we are. In fact, recently I connected with an entity to try to, so that we can open a discussion in terms of accreditation and certification, as you've rightfully said. So that's what we're working on at this point, because we do need to focus on that. That's a key element. Yes.
You also spoke about neighboring countries. Which countries are you looking at? Is it your neighboring countries, or you're looking at outside of Liberia into Africa? We have 54 countries on the continent. So are you looking at expanding across Africa at some point?
That is an ambitious goal, but what we know is realistic right now is for us to work within Liberia and our nearby countries. So we last 2019, we made some efforts to do some networking in Ghana with the hope of getting institutions that were linking up with institutions that were interested in promoting the STEM program. So we were able to foster some alliances with a few institutions there. So the STEM is such a crucial, it's such a revolution now and even though it's like, for instance, we're in Ghana, even though many of the schools had heard about the STEM program, but still a lot of them were still into the traditional classroom setting, you know, and because the STEM program, what we're doing is like a laboratory. It's like a maker space where the students just come after school and we put them in teams, we give them a project, and they work within their team to develop a prototype. And then they come back to the group and share what they've created. So it's like a laboratory, and there are no right or wrong answers. We tell them, just use your creativity skills, your critical thinking skills, and it's amazing what they eventually come up with. So in as much as the STEM is still a growing revolution in Africa, because in Ghana, like I said, as much as they are developing very fast, but many schools were still not familiar with the STEM program. So we even went to a rural institution to partner with one of the rural school district. But then when 2020 rolled over and the whole pandemic took over, we had to put everything at a standstill, because the plan was to do some what we like to call fairs, STEAM fairs, with these institutions. And then we have their stakeholders there, and they ask questions at the end of the fair. It's all hands on, and at the end of it, each team comes up and talks about their prototype, how they were able to build their prototype, how they were able to work together, and yeah.
It sounds so interesting, and you're speaking with so much of passion, Marjanne. Just on, I'm trying to get my head around this about how did COVID affect you? Because it's I know you're going fully online now, but I mean before that, did you take time off during the COVID, the lockdown period? Did you have a lockdown in Liberia?
Yes, we did. We did.
Okay. Was that the time that you used to re-strategize and re-energize and come up with this new model?
Yes, the COVID, being a spiritual person, the COVID, I think, was a good time to do a lot of reflection, and of course do a lot more research on the STEAM program and look at the possibilities, because even though the STEM program has been around for a while, but what we're trying to do is to customize it and to make sure that the students use materials that are right within their environment, that they can source. So the 2020 was really an interesting period to do a lot of reflection and look at lessons learned, and also do a lot more research. And then some training. I did we were able to do quite some training during that period as well, virtually. So
you kept the momentum going.
Yes, we did, and we tried to do a virtual challenge, but it didn't go over very well. So we decided to just put it on hold, and we're working on it now.
Wonderful. I wish you the best of luck, and I'm sure it's going to be awesome. But just going back to women in Africa, how did it feel, being the only person in your country to represent Liberia for the Women in Africa 54 program?
Oh, it's such an honor. It was just such a humbling experience, and my hope is that we can build an environment around women entrepreneurs here in Liberia, because more and more women, young women especially, are going into entrepreneurship and connecting it with the STEAM program. That's what we also try to develop in the young children, the entrepreneurship, innovation. And interestingly enough, we have many young people, as I move around the country, that are getting into developing their own startup, whatever it is, be it a little small business. And it's very encouraging. My hope is that we can foster a network here, like what happened in with the women in Africa. And I started when I came back, still very excited and hyped up. I was able to meet with a few women, and we had some discussions about how can we come together as Liberian women and foster something. And we started that conversation, and we need to continue. But I think there's still a lot of us developing a women assistant women in terms of business and in these areas. It's very, very essential. And I hope we can do something with the WIA network in helping us to foster that. What do you think?
I think you can, and I'm sure you'll be able to because, I often get the emails from We Are Still. I think, we just need to tap into that because if there's an opportunity in Liberia, I think you should just grab the opportunity and run with it. And, these days it's all about networking, collaborating, and just making things work. And, teamwork is dream work at the end of the day. We can't do everything alone. So it would be great if you can get a whole team together and start working on these initiatives that you've been thinking about.
Yes, and we will, and the conversations will continue, and we'll always be reaching out to someone like yourself to help us in terms of any guide, serve as a guide or point us in the right direction.
Absolutely. I'm here with absolute pleasure. I know, from we actually needed to continue with our conversation because there's a lot of stuff that I'd like to do in Liberia as well, and most of the other African countries where we're not at the moment. So yes, we will continue with that conversation and see how we can work together. That would be amazing.
Okay, Shamila, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And are you still, is there, I believe there's, with the COVID, the women in Africa, did they postpone the upcoming events because of the COVID, I'm sure?
I think all the major events throughout the globe have been put on hold just until COVID is over because a lot of the international flights are still not, they're still closed. So nobody can fly out of most countries. And if they do, then there's also strict regulations in terms of going into isolation for 10 or 14 days. So you don't want to leave, for me, for example, I don't want to leave South Africa and go to another country and find that I'm held there for 10 days in a hotel because I've got to self-isolate until I can really get into the country. So I think, for us now, we don't have those days to waste. And also it's taking a risk. We need to stay indoors and stay home as much as possible if we can work from home. But I think once the borders and everything opens and we okay to travel again, I think we're all looking forward to that because we're really getting sick and we're missing the traveling now.
Yes, exactly.
So just going back to your STEM initiatives, do you have a team that you put together that works with you or just volunteers?
We have a small resource team, as I said, and they're all professionals who are in their different industries. So whenever we have to host an event, is when we all come together with our schedules and try to make it happen. Because again, we have to keep it that way for the time being because we're not able to go out there and get full-time professionals to just work with us. So like we're preparing for the launch, we have these Saturday camps where the students come on the weekends, on Saturdays. And so the small group that we have, when they can find the time in their schedule, we chart out a course for, like we're working on we started in January and with our Saturday camp, and it ends the ending of March. So then once we get another team together who I've identified want to work along with us, then we plan a schedule for the next quarter. So, but we do have a small network of professionals that we can draw from as we go along. And for instance, the launch that we're planning, we make sure that they can put that into their schedules so that they can be a part of the launch and the virtual competitions. So if that answers your question, I'm not sure if I'm answering that question properly.
Yes, no, absolutely. I just wanted to get a feel of it because, with COVID affecting everybody, and in South Africa, for example, there's big businesses and small businesses that have shut down because of COVID affecting them so badly, in terms of not being sustainable, and also there's been such a huge increase in retrenchments, and unemployment has just gone up now as well. So
Yes.
is it the same in Liberia?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Liberia is still what we would consider a post-war environment. So there's still many things here are still um, there's still quite a few challenges, but I always believe that through those challenges there are always opportunities. So programs like ours, it's even though we were able to meet with the Ministry of Education and they were very excited about the program, but and we did one or two stints together, but then we have to launch forward and keep doing what we do, because again, like I say, the funding is not, these are not programs that are easily funded, because they're looked at as extracurricular programs.
Yes.
So we have to really find creative ways to look for our own funding. And for instance, even the hub that we have here, we're going to be, for the launch, we're going to be launching a cafe, a breakfast cafe around the during the daytime hours, and in the afternoons is when the students will be coming for the after school program. We haven't started our after school programs. We only have our Saturday camps right now. So, and then after the breakfast cafe, we're going to be looking at a memorial within, I have to say that cautiously, because we are planning, Liberia, because of what we went through, I'm sure you're familiar with what happened in Rwanda, the genocide.
Yes.
Yes, Liberia went through something similar. And Rwanda has had a dramatic turnaround in terms of whatever their leadership was able to do in terms of the healing and whatever. But Liberia, I don't believe that has been done. So we are still at the point where I think a lot of healing needs to go on in terms of families that were really just people were just, it was a lot of destruction and devastation. And one of the things we're working towards here at our STEAM Hub is to have a memorial wall to represent that as a source of some form of healing. And so I'm saying that to say those are avenues that will help to also serve as funding sources for keeping the programs afloat, because again, they're not easy. These are not programs that are easily funded here.
Yes, no, for sure. Did you look at international funding, USA, the UN?
Yes, that is what we're going to continue working in that direction, but we needed to get some traction in terms of our track record and what we've been doing, and I think we've done quite a bit. We've built up quite an interesting track record in the last, since 2014. So we're preparing to, this is why we want to do the launch, official launch, and invite some of our stakeholders in the country to attend the launch, even though it's going to be virtual. with the hope that we can attract their attention in terms of letting them know we're out here, and if they, yes, to see what kind of support we can get from there, because I believe they do have a lot of funding out there for these kinds of programs.
Absolutely. And I think you're doing a lot in terms of youth empowerment as well. I'm not sure if you have any representation there for the International Youth Society. Do you know about it?
No, we do have youth. It's called Federation of Liberian Youth. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with them, but I know they're out here, and they might have some affiliations with the international. I want to believe, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'm going to actually look into that and just check if there is representation in Liberia. And if not, then I'm going to actually hook you up with the president of the International Youth Society. So maybe that's something that you can look into as well, because you are doing youth programs. And
Right.
so let's look into that.
Oh, that would be awesome, Shamila. That would be awesome. And like you said, networking is the order of the day. And yes, so we're always excited to do networking. And that's why I'm so thrilled. I was so thrilled and honored when you brought the idea of sharing, having me on your platform.
You're most welcome. It was such an amazing chat, and I just wish you all the best in everything that you put your hands on. And I know you're going to make it work. I think all the women that attended the Women in Africa conference, all 54 women, were just amazing, and each got their own expertise and doing their own projects. So I know you're going to do very well with your STEM project. Any words from you?
Well, I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope it's not the last. I would love to be back another time when you can.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
Yes. So we will stay in touch, and it's just, we're out here. Our programs we're going to continue with the programs, and it's gaining traction, a step by step. So we're out here, and you'll be hearing more about us and the work that we're doing to reach the youth and the masses in the country with the STEAM program.
Absolutely. I'm going to look out for you, but we're going to be in touch. Definitely. We have some other stuff to talk about as well. But we definitely will stay in touch, and who knows, we might be collaborating.
Yes, exactly. Hopefully we will.
Thank you so much. Thank you for chatting to me on the Red Corner Show, and to everybody else watching. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you picked up something today. And if you would like to contact this wonderful lady in Liberia, please go ahead and do so. Do you want to share your contact details, Marjanne?
Yes, we're on WhatsApp, which is +233 544 270 226. And again, it's +233 544 270 226. And the email is sisters with an S of Africa restore @yahoo.com. Sisters with an S of Africa restore @yahoo.com.
Awesome. Thank you for that. I was just hoping that you don't share your number, but I'm sure that's a business line, so that's great. I'm sure people will, because some people go overboard with just numbers and getting to know people's numbers and then just messing around and all the spam messages, etc. But I'm sure that is your business number.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Just to put it out there, get it in the clear. If anybody wants to mess around, you're just going to be deleted or blocked.
Yes.
Marjanne, it was just amazing having you on the chat and reconnecting after so many years. And yeah, definitely we'll be chatting again soon.
Thank you so much, Shamila. It's such a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks, and you too. To everybody out there, if you would like to get on the chat on the Red Corner Show, please drop me an email, redcornerchat@gmail.com. Let's get chatting, and who knows, you might be inspiring someone out there as well. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.